when something's been in the works for a long time. It
Right.
usually shows that there's signs of trouble. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
this is a fun little segue and nice way to end the
Uh,
podcast. Going back to the Cure, full circle.
right on.
Where's the new Cure album? Where is
Oh
it?
boy. Yeah, good question. I think it's lost in the city of the crow somewhere, but yeah, it's weird. I guess the latest update was that Robert put out some art for a charity thing, and
Yeah,
he named the pieces Alone and End Song, and so and it said from the forthcoming album. So at least I guess that's good news that he hasn't just, kind of half expect them at this point to be like, what new album? We never said there'd be a new. Yeah, they just
there
never
was a
mention it
yeah,
again. Yeah. But
there was
they're
a
at least
small buzz. Yeah, there was a small buzz on Reddit
uh-huh.
earlier this week because I think people were replying to the tweets,
Yeah.
and I think someone said, is the album coming out in 2024? And is it the British Heart Foundation
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
charity is? They tweeted back with like kind of like, oh, cheeky, like, oh, maybe emojis, like, oh, just wait and see. And everyone's like, that's it, confirmed, confirmed. And then there was another off going, like, that is not a reliable source, like
No.
the charity. But I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe they like doing charity work, they like doing donations.
Yeah.
Maybe this upcoming album, maybe they're gonna give some of the profit of the album to the charity.
Yeah.
Maybe they know something we don't know. But
Yeah.
at this point, I I've long since given up hope now. Long
Yeah.
since given up hope.
As much as I love speculating, I feel like I'm even like, I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. I'm open to theories, but at this point, it's just sad too that they're like, I mean, I know at this point which is cool that they don't care about maximizing their, momentum and stuff. But I mean, the fact that they just did this huge tour, and like not putting it out, so many people would have just bought it that were even casual Cure fans because they probably went back and saw them this last round of touring and like were like, oh yeah, they are a great band. Oh, a new album, awesome! I love those songs. But now enough times like passing where they probably are gonna fall off into the whatever again, and yeah, so it's really weird that they're not jumping at these moments of even right after the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in the U.S. was a big deal. If they had put it out right after that, everybody would have been like, holy shit, yeah, they're band's untouchable. But I mean, I guess that's kind of classic Cure too. Is like we'll put it out when we want to. It's like,
They really had a good few hotspots and really good opportunities, didn't they, in the past couple of years? As you say,
yeah,
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, the World Tour was the biggest one. It should have came out before that. But even
yeah,
before that, we had over in the UK them headlining Glastonbury
yeah. I was gonna
and
say
doing
the
a few
festivals.
festival slots. There
Yeah,
was really some great like there was a window and you did it. And what bugs me out the most about this is kind of the fact that this album's in a state of near completion. It's like the loading bar on a computer, like
yeah,
back in the day when it like it zoomed to the end and quickly and then stay on the last little bit
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, will you just load? Bloody hell.
And isn't it the million
It's
dollar
up to them,
question?
isn't it? Yeah.
The million dollar question was that is, do you just cancel it and start over when it gets to that almost low, or do you just sit
What
and wait
yeah.
forever?
What worries me about it the most is the fact that like almost finished. Why isn't it getting finished?
Yeah,
Are you doubtful of its quality? Is that the problem? Do you think that it's, I
yeah,
can fix this, I can fix this, I can make this better, I can make this better? I think the prime example, whenever you go to a long wait for an album, is Chinese Democracy, which I have
yeah,
covered
yeah. I saw that on the list
quite a
there.
few episodes ago. That was ultimately about a 15-year wait, I think from 93 to 2008, but I don't think work actually really started ramping up on the album until about 99 or maybe a bit earlier or a bit later.
Uh-huh.
So in total it was near a decade of work and we're getting now into about I'm sure it's 2018 when they
Yeah,
first said that work on a new album was going to happen. I think the actual recording started in 2019, didn't it?
yeah, definitely.
So it's 5 years now, and it is worrying because like I don't think an album should take that long. And
Yeah,
I think what it is I think there's a lot of anxiety about it because I think Robert does intend this to be the finale.
yeah,
And how do you make an end a bookend album? How do you finish a legacy? How do you finish
Yeah.
a 40, 40 years and all the music that come before it? How do you do that gracefully? How do you do that well? How do you make these songs stand out and make you go, wow, this is a
It's
great way to end? So I think there's a bit of worry about that, but I think at the same time, I think they're getting in their own way a bit. You know, we've
yeah.
already heard like what, five or six of
Six
the actual
totally,
songs
yeah.
off
One
the
of the
six
six
off
we
the album.
barely
So
heard, but
yeah,
yeah, that's what's so weird. It was like if we hadn't heard any of them, we could be like, well, maybe it is just not that good, and he's hesitant. But the fact they played five of them consistently every night, and everybody loved them, everybody was like, sweet, yeah, let's do it. Let's bring. That's like half, more than half the album if you count the sixth song, And it was like just, and they're so good, and they played it pretty much the same every time, so they weren't like jam songs that were they're improvising parts and they're what I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're
yeah. They
pretty
were complete
set.
songs, weren't they? They were
Yeah, so it
complete.
wasn't like he was
Yeah,
changing the lyrics up and stuff. I mean, it's if they just go on into the studio, I mean, even if you recorded it every once a week, every week, you would be able to do the album like 20 times by now. So I don't really get, unless those four leftover songs are like such awful songs that they're just like, ooh, we need four. But at this point, who cares? We'd all be happy just to get the six awesome songs and have like four filler ones too, whatever. The bar is pretty low
yeah,
as
yeah.
far as those other four songs. So yeah, I don't know what it could be. I think it, like you're saying, I kind of considered that with it is such a final kind of closure album, just thematically and everything, that maybe they are just kind of stalling almost like, let's get some more tour again. When we're all ready to officially pack it in, that'll be the final thing and it'll be the perfect ending. But I don't know. I must don't see them even thinking that far ahead, because they kind of did that with Bloodflowers, and then you end up like touring for that and realizing something else will
Yeah.
inspire them, and it just it never ends as neatly as you think it will. So, but I don't know, it could be something like that. Roger's health was a bit of an issue, but I don't know how that would affect the album at this point. He's had to have recorded his parts at this point. Maybe
Oh
they
yeah,
just don't want
this
to,
parcel have been well done.
like
Yeah, that's
5
what I mean.
years
It just
ago.
kind of feels. It
So
feels like it's just being kind of like sat on, doesn't it? It just it
yeah,
kind of feels like, it, and I don't want it to be overcooked.
yeah, because
Going
they
back to Chinese democracy and just how much was just thrown and stuffed into that.
did
And
they dwell
when
on
I
the
reviewed
mixing
it for the
or
podcast,
uh-huh.
what I the issue I had was just so much stuff in it, and if it was a lot more stripped back, especially for a band like Guns N' Roses that
Yeah,
were very raw and kind of to the point kind of band, you
right.
know, there was so much that could have been taken away from that.
Yeah.
That's just what's worrying me. Like, is like how many guitar overlays you're going to put in. When will it just get to a point where like this is just a mess? You've just made a mess.
Yeah.
But
Which is
let's try and
possible.
remain optimistic. Let's try and remain positive, and hopefully we'll have it out this year. Although we're halfway through the year now, and there's no
Yeah.
news. You usually find out an album's coming out about 3 months roughly, don't you, before it actually
Yeah,
comes
that's
out?
what we were all kind of worrying
Because
about. Because yeah, at this
yeah,
point it's not going to come out in the
got to go to the
summer.
press, has it? It's got to go to the vinyl pressings, hasn't it? And
Yeah. And
yeah, so
we're back to like,
I
oh,
don't know.
Halloween would be cool, and oh, maybe before Christmas, and now it's the next year. So it's like great. So yeah, you can
Well,
see.
in the meantime, we've got plenty of picture discs to
Yeah,
look forward to, haven't we?
just keep putting out those picture discs, and so yeah, just keep watching the records spin. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some kind of update soon of any degree. At this point, I don't see the mystery drop, like the spontaneous one happening at this point either. That was always
I
like,
would
well, maybe
hate
they'll be
that.
cool.
Yeah,
And I mean, at this point, like you've waited this long, you can't just be like, here it is. You think there would be
I
some build up. But,
I honestly would hate that.
mhm.
I want to experience it on vinyl, best way possible. I don't want to just it be put up on Spotify and
Yeah.
listen to them. But especially if you work so long on it, like the production, the mix is it's got to be some
Yeah.
high scale stuff, hasn't it? I think we'll leave.